Hello, I'm Allie,
I'm Deb.
and welcome to another episode of Connected Conversations. So, let's talk about money today, everyone's favorite topic. If you're not comfortable with money, let's get comfortable with money because your money story is important. So, if you've been struggling with maybe asking for more money in your job, curious why clients aren't coming to you, or you have a problem receiving money, or you just keep on hitting that ceiling and you're curious, like, what is going on? Like, I want to make more money, I want to do this, and yet everything inside of you might be sabotaging. So we all have a money story. It's from what I truly believe. It comes from our subconscious, something that was given to us that we've taken on from such a young age, from 0 and 6. And that story has been running you for your whole life and will continue to do so until you kind of figure out and use some of the strategies that we're working on with you today to start changing it. Because I'm sure that you deserve to make more money. And I'm sure that you are doing a beautiful job. So it's time that you ask to be compensated appropriately. So, Deb, what are your thoughts on money story? I'd love to hear.
Yeah, well, it is a story, right? Like, what are you telling yourself about money? What were you told growing up about money? We've all been told money doesn't grow on trees, but it's a
It
tree.
does. It does.
It's a tree. So I think that's it, right? Like what are you telling yourself? There's that inner critic that maybe you don't even know is behind the scenes whispering like, "Oh, you're not worthy of more money," or it's only for the elite, 1% of the population, which is not true. Money is just energy. So where is your energy around money? What is the belief that you have around money? Is it hard to come by? Do you have to work really hard for money? Those are all stories that you could be telling yourself, and it really is blocking that abundance coming through.
Yeah, because if you don't feel like you're worth it, it's going to be really tough to ask for that raise. And I'm sure, or that bonus, or whatever extras you're doing, or when you are selling as a business, like what is your price point? Are you selling yourself short? Are you maybe not attracting clients because people aren't taking you seriously because you don't feel like you're creating that value? And again, like you're saying, it starts as just a story. And from my own experience, like when I was in my later 20s, I had such a huge problem with feeling like I was worth it that I've actually taken jobs and with a decrease in salary. I look back at myself, I'm like, what in the world
Why
was
did
I
I do that?
like, why am I getting convincing my own self? Like no one else is even like convincing. I'm selling myself short. To fast forward, then at some point I was like, I need this $5,000 for this course, or I demand this raise because I am doing more in this role. And that came from me understanding that's similar to you, like money doesn't grow on trees, or maybe like money is the root of all evil. Like there are
That's a good
so
one.
many different ones. And I think if you just like can think back of what your parents said or what was around you a lot, like it could be relatives or the environment of your community, what was being said, because that is a narrative that, again, like you said, Deb, you might not even realize is going on through you until you start becoming conscious and aware of it. And that's I believe the first step. Like you have to figure out, what do you actually believe in? Because we've talked a lot about belief in the last month, about money. Is it luck? Are you manifesting? And it is a belief. And it's starting to understand, like, okay, you know what? I do think money is the root of all evil. So I don't want it. So I have been pushing it away because I don't think I'm an evil person. That could be a story.
I like it. Even a discussion around money. Like I don't know
Mm,
about you. I don't think I really talked to my parents about money, like like is that belief that I have to work like extra hard for to make more money. You know, yeah, I have to work really, really, really hard. You hear people saying, I'm just working so hard, or I have to work
mm,
so many hours, or, and I don't believe that's the case. I don't, it can, money comes easily to me. That's my, like, I like to have that belief, or I love money, money loves me, you know, and even how you treat and I know we've kind of talked about this before, but like how you treat your bills. Do you,
Mm.
you know, you look at a bill and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to afford this? Or how am I going to pay this? Or do you look at it and just know that the universe will supply me with whatever I need? Or how do you even treat the money in your wallet? Do you just like stick it in your pocket, or do you just like have it like loosely around your purse, or is it organized because you respect it? So how do you treat money is just as important as your beliefs around money, because you know, I think I always say this, like I find dimes all the time, and it's like I'm like, yes, like I won the lot. It's like it's so exciting because how you treat the small things is how you will treat the big things. And I always say that too, like how you do the small things is how you will do the big things. But I really do believe that around money, like how you treat it, how you value it, and how you respect it is also super important.
Yeah, because like when you're ignoring it, you're ignoring the budgeting or you're ignoring um
Your
really
taxes.
the reality of it. Like it's here, it's happening. And even like I like with taxes, like what a great example. Plus it's we're getting into tax
Yeah, we're
season
in tax season.
and you could look at it as like, oh my gosh, I have to pay more taxes because I was able to earn more and be grateful that you're earning more. And grateful that if that's your contribution to society, like start shifting this mindset of like someday I wish that I'm giving the government tons of money. Why? Because then I know that I've earned so much more respect for myself and
That's
worthiness, and
so
I'm
true.
attracting that. So again, like you could use taxes as this great example. And if you're avoiding taxes, what else are you avoiding in your life? Or
I
you're
love that.
lying about it? Because again, it's just an instance and it's your turn to check in to see, okay, what's going on. And once you have this awareness, it's like, okay, if you want to start changing that and shifting that, it's like the relationships we have. Would dating would money actually want to date you? If you're
Right.
ignoring it, you're saying that it's evil. It's like, of course it's not going to want to date you and come to you and be like, oh my goodness, I want to be with you because I know I'm taken care of. No, it wouldn't. So it's looking at like how can you start shifting it because it is, I think it's not I think more and more I do see people talking about wages and disclosing wages, which I absolutely adore, especially when it comes to equity of being paid. However, this could be just a common conversation over lunch. So let's stop making money this taboo subject and start bringing it to light and talking with girlfriends. Okay, like how could I earn more money? Or this is what I'm making right now. Like, what are you hearing in the marketplace? Because you might not even
Mhm.
understand your own worth. And again, like I'm going from my own experience of like leaving jobs sometimes and they're replacing me with four people. Really? Like, am I not feeling like, okay, like again, those are some of my stories, though, like look at your own reality and then let's get into shifting because that's like it's great if you have awareness and if you're not going to do anything different, you're you're going to have those same results.
I also really believe, like, when it comes to generosity, like, do you hold on to your purse strings so tightly? And like, there's no judgment here if you do, but you know, it's kind of like that analogy of sand. When you hold it too tightly, you lose more, right? Whereas if you are more open or more generous, and I'm not saying, you know, they say 25, give back 25%. Like maybe that's not your situation right now. Maybe you can't, but maybe you could give 1%, or maybe you can, you know, give back to causes that are really important to you, because, you know, the more that you give, you're allowing the universe to provide you with more as well. So I do I do believe in charity and giving, and I really do believe that the more that you give will come back to you 100%. I do really like also, sorry, go ahead. I know you're going to say something.
I was just going to say, keep in mind that when you're giving, don't expect that same organization to get back to you. Because I think what happens, it's like, but I gave this, like, where is it? It's like maybe that receiving back came in someone else buying you dinner.
Yes,
Or
100%.
you go shopping and it's like that one piece that you were looking for or something happened and it's like, oh my gosh. this is actually $400 off this appliance. And I wasn't anticipating that, right? Like, so you gave $100, so you got $400 in savings. So again, like you can look and play with these little nuances and start noticing the magic of the universe and what's happening. Because again, like it's all these notices of like, yeah, we are giving and we're receiving, and these are all financial ways to look at where is your money story.
I think there's also I like the idea of having conversations around money, but I also believe that there is enough to go around. So I think a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Allie is a coach too. So how am I gonna compare? And it's that comparison game that we play with other people sometimes, or the jealousy that somebody has
Mm.
something. Because so, are you jealous of somebody else and their success? And that's an opportunity to dive deeper within yourself to really, why am I jealous? Is it because I want that for myself? And if that's the case, how can I shift my story into celebrating them because I want that for myself instead of that jealousy game or comparison or competition?
Hmm. So what are some things that you've done to shift your money story?
So I like this exercise of, okay, writing it all out. What is my money situation right now? What are my beliefs around money? What have I been told growing up around money? So write it all out and then
Mhm.
rip it up, tear it up. You can burn it, but do it safely if you choose to do that method. I don't want any comments about you burnt yourself. Like, do it safely if you choose to burn it. But I really do like that burning, because then you're like letting it all go. It's gone. She gone.
Diffuse that energy, right? Like a transmute energy
Yeah.
completely.
And then I like to write out the vision of what I want my money story to be. And this doesn't even have to be around money. The exercise I'm giving you right now, you can do it with anything, just any
Mm.
situation in your life that you're maybe not happy with. So write out what you want. And then what are some affirmations that I can shift from how it is or was to what I want. So I have a great relationship with money. We've done some of those money affirmations in previous episodes of I love money, money loves me. The universe will supply me with abundance. Like, how do I want to feel? What do I want my situation to look like? And like, be really specific on what you want to earn, because sometimes, and
Mm.
go bigger than what you think. You know what I mean? Like, we always say dream big, but yes, dream big, because then you're kind of what's the word? You're going for something that you've never done before, and it's going to cause you to grow and expand. So that's kind of that's an exercise I like to do. What I also like to ask people, like I ask people who are successful, what
Mm.
are some tips and tricks? Like, learn from the best, like they've done it. So, I ask people all the time on, how can I do this? Or, like, learn from the best. That's a great way to do it. Because you think that you have all the answers, but there's so much knowledge out there from people who have done it. So, those are some of the things that I like to do. What about you?
I love this one, and you can actually, I don't know, pause or whatever, is go grab a bill, whatever bill you want, um, and just sit with it for a minute and just just think about money, and then kind of get back to your childhood and be with that, like any memories you have about money or anything, and then take a look at the bill and see whose face you see on it. And I saw my dad's face. So I'm looking at like my dad, like, okay, where has my dad really influenced my
Hmm,
money story?
I like
And
that.
then kind of went into guidance in that form so that I could see. And then also just like, yeah, like you're saying, like write out, like I have to understand what the narrative is. And then I've done some work on energy clearing, as well as like you're saying, like get educated. So if you're not sure about investments, like if there's bankers, or you could go to a
Sure.
brokerage and start saving. Like allow yourself to give back to yourself too, because that's very important. So talk to the experts. And I think banking versus brokerage are very different. So I would go for a couple, especially if it's new. Pick up some some books, like I'm a badass at making money, or badass at making money. I believe that's what it is, by Jen Sakuro. I love that book. Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like those are a few. You have your money,
I
your
have like
pocket full of
a
money.
happy pocket full of money.
Happy. I still need to do that one.
It's
Anyway, so
such a
here's
good
some
book.
resources. It's like, which one of those kind of stuck out to you? Start reading, because again, you have to get educated. And then affirmations, and like Deb was saying, like I'm like every day, like I'm so happy and grateful and feeling it. It's not like, okay,
So
these
happy and
ladies
grateful.
told
Oops.
me like once I do affirmations, that's changing it. No, that's like, you did not listen to us, and that's what you're going to start saying. No, what I'm saying
You
is like,
really do have to feel into it though. Like you have to be
feel it, experience it, visualize it. And if you're having problems with that aspect, like again, hire a coach, like
for sure.
hire a career coach, hire a money coach, hire someone else again, or talk to those people that have it, because trust me, you are not going to be able to do it alone with the current way of thinking, because your current way of thinking will not get you the results that you want of something different. You have to start thinking differently. So that's where support community is very different, because trust me, when you start, like, especially if it's like rich people are bad or whatever, when you start maybe speaking to some people that have hearts of gold, that can tell you their passion stories about what they've done and they want to support you, you're breaking that belief that rich people are bad or whatever. That's just an example. Like you can see a different side of the story instead of attracting maybe that rich person or that person on the news that is playing that story right. So similar to Deb, like I have reached out to people that I've admired and said like, hey, I'd love a piece of your time. Can I grab you a coffee? Can we have a quick Zoom? I want to know, because again, like I haven't been there yet, and this is what it's taking. So it's definitely, and then you have to take those courageous steps. So it could be like, okay, I don't normally do this and I'm going to do it anyway, and step into the fear. Because if you're not doing it anyway, again, you're going to get those same results. So those are like a few of the things. And I know, Deb, you have a special treat for everyone today. And I love your little special treats that we get to provide
Oh, my special treat. Yeah. Hypnosis is a really meditation. Like we've talked about meditations. But I've made a wealth wiring hypnosis that we will include. So that's I hope everybody enjoys it, and make sure you're not doing hypnosis while you're operating machinery or anything that requires concentration, because I don't need any comments about poor experience or negative experience. I also really like this tip too, like write yourself a check from the universe, and what would that look like? And I
you.
think when you think of like massive wealth, and maybe that's not the case for your current situation, can you think of like all the things that you could do to give back to people? Like whether it's, whether you have this massive amount of wealth that you create a company and then you start employing people, like that is giving back. And so
Mm-hmm.
really rewiring your brain around massive wealth and these giant corporations, well, they're employing people, they're giving back. It's helping people. So yeah, changing your money story. And you can do that in the wealth wiring hypnosis. And we are so excited for the month of April too, because we are going into wellness. So we have some great stuff coming up. So we will be back on Monday live to kickstart your week with Ali and Deb. And again, next Thursday with another episode of Connected Conversation. Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please share with your friends and rate and recommend on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. There will be links to more great resources in the description.